Check. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear my voice right now. We're still tweaking the stream. If you do, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me today. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're going to be doing this live stream. As you can see, like, there's a little bit better lighting now. The microphone is all like ready to go. I'm rocking different headphones. So we'll slowly get in the hang of it and making it a little bit better for everybody else joining us. And then I now have in my OBS everything preset. So we're kicking it. We're getting it a little bit better just so we can consistently create these streams and engage and hang out. But if you're listening to this after the fact, thank you so much. I hope you're having a great day as well. And this stream / audio conversation, so to speak, it's going to be surrounding the brand new DJI Osmo Mobile 3, which is like crazy exciting. I'm super stoked for it. We've been hearing a lot of rumors, a lot of speculations. Wireless charging, is it going to do this, is it going to do that? So today we're going to take a little journey together. We're going to talk, we're going to answer your questions, maybe things that you think it's going to do, because it's available to purchase. Right now, you can go to DJI.com. You can actually go to different online retailers. Brick and mortar stores also are starting to carry it. And you can actually place your order right now. I do have a link in my description for the DJI marketplace. That way, if you're interested in checking it out, it's also there. Same with the DJI Osmo Mobile 2. It does not seem like they're going to stop selling the Osmo Mobile 2, which is kind of weird. Maybe they're just kind of like waiting for it to fully, like, I guess, sold out. Sell the whole remaining stock and then just go full force with the Osmo 3. But regardless, before we dive in and we go and check out the features, I do not possess the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 still. I placed my order as well, just like you did. So we're going to dissect as soon as it gets here. We're going to compare with the Moza Mini Me. We're going to compare with the Mini S. We're going to compare versus the regular DJI Osmo Mobile 2. That way we can, compare and see if it's, is it really worth it? Is the stabilization that much better? Or would I benefit from some of the changes that DJI included on this thing? And it's looking really, really good. Before we continue and dive in, let me just say hi to some of you that I saw you were here. I know Jack the Knife is here. John is here. Chuck Ostrom is here. Stan's having dinner right now. Stan, no worries. Go enjoy your dinner. We'll be here. And if for some reason you can't catch a stream live, just send me a DM if you have any questions or kind of like check out this stream. We're going to continue to have a conversation. We're going to be doing this just to set some expectations. I would say probably 45 to an hour. Just because I know some of you it's dinner time. It's a weekday, so you're probably hanging out with the family, kind of like winding down from a hard days of work. And of course, if you're in the East Coast, thank you so much for hanging out and, staying up late. If you're in the opposite side of the globe, thank you so much as well for hanging out with us. Brodot is here. There you go. Luis is here as well. Bob, thank you so much. Miss Pokey, the commissioner, pretty much the commissioner of the Ninja Workers Club is here with the custom emojis. Look at that. She's also moderator. If you see the little wrench over there, so behave, or she'll give you a timeout. I'm just kidding. Kei Hirano, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Chuck, I do not have it. I'm not on that privilege list. Hopefully I'll be one day, but as of right now, I'm just buying it just like everything. I've never received any free DJI products. I've bought all the stuff that I have. And generally, I really enjoy their products. So I have no problem with investing. It's definitely an investment. So I have no problem with that. Too bad they didn't brought it before summertime. I know, Jack the Knife. I wish they did, because a lot of traveling, a lot of pool, summertime, beach, and a lot of really cool things that could have been incorporated into having the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. And it's also one of those things, I don't know if you share the sentiment, but whenever you buy a new camera or you have a brand new stabilizer, you actually start coming up with things to do just to test it out. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of like a self-fulfilling system there where you get the gimbal. Oh, let's go out to try the gimbal. And then you end up doing really cool stuff just to test it out. I love it. Fasorn, I think I said it right. I'm not 100% sure. Thank you so much for coming to the stream. Broda, it's 10 a.m. Good morning, Broda. You're going to work, you're going to school. Thank you for hanging out with us. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you're in Australia. I'm not sure, but I remember from the Dear Gamer gaming days that you joined us over. Yo, from St. Paul, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, King, Shoot King. So, a couple things that I want to talk about regarding the DJI Osmo Mobile is, for a lot of people that just bought an Osmo Mobile 2 or just any gimbal in general, don't think that just because DJI just recently announced a brand new gimbal, your gimbal is obsolete. As a matter of fact, I still know people that have the first DJI Osmo Mobile and they're creating amazing content. So don't feel like you're obligated to get a gimbal or anything like that. On the contrary, use this to see what are some of those things that you feel, hey, you know what, that feature could be something I could leverage. Because a lot of times, and I include myself in this, it's like we often do impulse buy into like, oh my God, look at that one feature. But when we really have it here, are we really going to use it that much? So definitely exercise caution. If you already have a gimbal, you're ahead of the game to begin with. So you're enjoying a buttery smooth B-roll and you're creating content and you're enjoying. But the reason of this stream, I'm sorry, Brodad Sam, yep, I'm living on Mars. The reason of the stream is that we're going to go ahead and take a little field trip to the DJI website, and we're going to dissect and see what some of the features, what do they really mean, and how can they be assimilated into your specific lifestyle and workflow, and maybe some ideas. Maybe you could repurpose some of those features for like a really cool, oh my God, I never thought that I could use this gimbal for this specific thing or that specific thing. And we're going to do something different today as well. So right now I'm in the DJI website, and because I don't have the gimbal, we're going to do this together. And you can also check this out as well and kind of like get into the nitty gritty. And if you do see something that you're interested in me covering, I'm going to keep, of course, I have the stream also on my phone here so I can follow up for the comments. But if we go to the consumer, we can simply just go to the Osmo series side of things, and I'm going to click on Osmo Mobile 3. And we're going to dive into some of those features. You could totally buy this thing right now. And the first thing that I see, and I'm pretty sure that if we all saw the reveal of the Instagram videos or the YouTube videos of the Osmo together, we can see that the stabilizer looks a little bit different, right? So if I kind of like show you in a similar fashion the DJI Osmo Mobile 2, we can all agree that the motor changed, right? So if I were to hold a gimbal in this type of position, this motor that's behind the DJI Osmo Mobile 2, right now on the DJI Osmo 3, it's kind of like a single arm going to the right instead. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you have probably seen another gimbal that looks like that. Can anybody guess which other gimbal in the industry right now has a similar design? Not quite, apples to apples, but there's another gimbal right now that has a similar philosophy. And if you are thinking about it, or if you've seen it but you don't remember the name, that gimbal, it's called the Snoppa Atom. And the Snoppa Atom actually shares that similar design. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of like set it up real quick so you can see what that device could look like. I'm going to be putting the S10 Plus here real quick. And to begin with, when we look at that website, the first thing that we notice is that there's no motor blocking the ports of the phone in this case. So if I were to use a Snoppa, for example, it shares a similar design. I'm going to turn it on real quick here. You can actually see that the ports are fully open and ready to be leveraged, which is a really, really awesome addition. I'm really glad that DJI assumed this design, because even though I haven't really used the Snoppa Atom as much as I'd like, because I've been using the Moza Mini, I've been using the Smooth, I've been using the FreeVision gimbals a lot. This opens up the possibility for people that are looking to maybe incorporate a microphone or monitor audio for a specific scene or something like that, to not only plug in any headphone jack, if you have, let's say, a Samsung Galaxy S10 or a phone that still has a headphone jack adapter at the bottom, you could just easily plug in a microphone there. If it's a lavalier microphone, for example, like the Deity mic that we've been using here on the channel, you could totally do that right away. And lavalier mics are right now very, very affordable. But even better yet, your Lightning port or USB-C ports are going to be also open for you to be able to not only charge your device, but also include other accessories. Here's a fun fact. I was actually trying this not too long ago. I actually was able to use the Fifine K670 microphone that I'm currently using for this live stream / podcast. And I was able to use it on my Samsung Galaxy S10 with just a regular USB-C to regular USB adapter, which is included in the box, or you could get one very, very cheap. So that just simply opens up a lot of possibility in terms of getting more dynamic video in conjunction with other accessories like microphones or even lights and other things that you could potentially incorporate in your workflow. So that's a specific major change that I really enjoy, that not only the Snoppa Atom has, but now the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 is going to incorporate. And because DJI is such a massive company, I'm really excited how this is going to continue to move the industry in a whole different way in terms of design, in terms of like accessibility for accessories and things like that. So let me know, what do you think about the design? Do you have any concerns, any questions, like things like, what about this, but what about that? Because that's the whole thing of this stream over here. It's just for us to be able to kind of like voice our concerns and see how we can address those together. But before we continue, I'm going to take a look and read some of the comments here real quick. How many gimbals do you have after this? Do you keep all of them? Chalk, I do have right now a couple of gimbals here. Just top of my head, we're looking at about 12, more or less. I have sold a couple. I have given away a couple. So yeah, I do keep most of them, especially on... you do have the flexibility of being able to use your gimbal without having to upgrade it as often. And you can repurpose your accessories, which is really useful to some. So very, very true. Thank you for your input, guys. Chu King is saying, I wonder how this does with lens. Aren't lenses heavy? And yes, that is a great and valid concern regarding lenses. If we take a look at the gimbal right now in a photo here, if you're looking at the DJI Osmo Mobile 3, virtually there's no limit in terms of how far the phone goes left or right. So in this case, I'm using the Snoppa Atom because it's the closest thing I have to it. But of course, I believe that the moment I get my DJI Osmo Mobile 3, we're going to dive into stabilization comparisons and tips and tricks, all that fun stuff. But in this case, you do have the flexibility of swaying your phone left and right. And in that same vein, I actually have my phone with the Moment case here. So if I were to do that, you do have the option to sway the phone left and right, to make up for that extra heaviness that the lens is going to cause for the phone to tilt to the left. So that's very cool that they thought of that. Sorry about that. But you do have the option. I actually, before we started the stream, I was testing the Moment lens in the iPhone XS Max, which is very heavy in the grand scheme of things, with the thicker Moment lens case, and it handled it like a champ. It did a really, really good job. You have to, of course, sway it a little bit further to the right, so you can balance the whole equation prior to turning on the gimbal, and it's still going to be kind of like tilting back and forth. But as long as the gimbal's not leaning towards the left or the right too much, you're definitely going to be able to leverage those lenses. But another really interesting thing about that design is that the arm goes to the side, right? And that has been a very, very interesting decision, and something that for me, it's been very, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's just custom for me when I'm tilting, when I'm doing, let's say, a jib shot or something like that, I'm tilting the device forward. You pretty much go from the very bottom to the very top, and you create a crane shot or a jib shot by locking your tilt and just locking your device either on all lock mode or pan follow. So for example, in the DJI Osmo Mobile, all you really got to do is just lean the device forward and then just tilt up and down, and that's it. But on this gimbal, it's going to be a little different, because if you were to tilt down, it'll tilt with it because it's restricted. It has a limit range of motion. But for example, in this case, the way you would tilt and you create those reveal shots or those crane shots will be just to simply go on your side. This would be the actual range of motion. And it's one of those things, like, you know, it's customary. We've been using gimbals for so many years now that they all go forward or backwards if you want to go. Now this one, you're going to have to kind of like figure out a way to go on its side. So you're pretty much going to switch over to full screen here real quick. In this case, you're going to be kind of like going down and up rather than forward, right? You see how the phone is kind of tilting up and down. I'm going to do it sideways over here so you can see like there's like a major limitation there. But then, of course, if you were to just simply do the sideways, then you can go virtually almost all the way. Yeah, pretty much underslung all the way, which is really cool. Very, very useful. So long story short, guys, this design is definitely going to be something to get used to. But once you have that down, it's going to give you the option also to tackle different situations in that different position. And I feel and I think it might be a lot easier to take underslung videos when you go all the way down. You can just simply have your hand on your side and walk normally without having to shimmy sideways, which is another thing that I was thinking about when that design was revealed. So perfect. So let's take a look and see what else everybody's saying here. I wonder how the moment lens is. The design does cost you to manage the gimbal in a different way. Can you make some limitations to the range of movement, shifting from high to low? Absolutely, Tim. I just bought the Fayutech Vlog Pocket and I'm very happy with it. It has a smaller footprint and it's missing the joystick, but I don't really need one. And it's also half the price. Congratulations, John. That's awesome. I haven't gotten the opportunity to fully play with it. I saw the Vlog Pocket at CES and NAB actually, and it was really interesting because it's so small. Kind of like a little bit larger than the Osmo Mobile, Osmo Pocket, but smaller than the Osmo by a long shot. So that's really cool. Let me know if you upload any videos with it. I would love to check it out. Will an OtterBox fit? Chuck, it depends on the OtterBox. If your OtterBox is similar to the Moment case, which is beefier, but not like one of the Statement or the newer OtterBoxes that are a little bit thinner, you're definitely going to be able to fit it there. Exercise caution, because whenever you put your phone on a gimbal, often they don't account for how thick it's going to be, and it's going to be like super thick, and sometimes different movements could cause it for it to snap out of the grip. So just keep an eye on that. Nicolaus, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Do you think it can hold a chicken nugget? I'm going to be honest with you, it can hold an iPhone SE, so I don't know, it depends on the nugget. So many factors, case, lenses, mics, and other accessories, absolutely. What's the max payload? Actually, let's go ahead and dive in real quick. I'm going to continue to scroll down, and we're going to just cover a little bit more about the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 here, but then of course, we're going to go into the specs that we can fully see and answer that question, because the payload for the original DJI Osmo Mobile was very ambiguous. It was around 210, 220, depending on the type of phone, depending on the type of case you had. It would definitely max out really, really quick if you had an iPhone XS Max, a case, and a lens. It would just no way. So you need a counterweight. But with the XS Max, it would definitely go all the way, and it was like barely balanced. Like it was like perfect, but you had to use no case. So if we scroll down on the Osmo Mobile website here real quick, you'll definitely see a couple different things down here. It's foldable, which is really cool. That option of it being foldable is definitely very, very useful. And I do actually possess right now a gimbal that's foldable on top of the Snoppa Atom, right? It's going to be the Moza Mini S. That one snaps. It has like a little locking mechanism, and when you fold it around, it pretty much folds this way. So it's one of those things that could fit in a bag, or if depending on the jacket you're wearing that day, or if you're wearing cargo shorts or something like that, you could totally fit it there. right? So that design is very, 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 very popular right now. A lot of people are incorporating it into the gimbals in terms of like manufacturers, but I've heard a lot of really good feedback about it. And then if I were to do the same exact thing with the Snoppa Atom, just so you have a little bit of context on what that might look like when you get it, the Snoppa Atom also has kind of like a locking mechanism there, and it has a little switch down here that it gives you the option to fully fold it. Very, very similar to what DJI is doing here. I'm gonna go ahead and lock it in place. There's like a little click area there for it to just rest and just not move. There we go. Right? And this would be something very, very similar to what the DJI Osmo is going to look like in terms of like the foldable capability, the folding look, which I feel it's a smaller footprint. So this is the Snoppa Atom. It's a similar in terms of the shape gimbal, but that's the closest thing that I have in order to showcase how that's going to look like. So that's why we're just covering this together. So we all know that the gimbal is definitely going to help you, stabilize your shot. You can see on the left stabilization. If you're already using a stabilizer, we're going to move on because we've already covered this for years in the channel at this point. But you can totally see the design over here and how we're slowly scrolling down. You can see how it's kind of cool because if you were to turn it on or off, when it turns off, it just automatically rotates and sets you up for the right position for you to be able to store it, which is so cool. I love the fact that they're helping you set it the right way. I don't know if you saw me here. I was kind of like trying to fold it, but there's like some specific areas that you could fit it and click it in so it doesn't move around. And I appreciate the fact that DJI incorporated a motion when you turn it off so it goes back in the right way. Because if you don't know where it falls, you might force and you don't want to break your gimbal. So I really appreciate that feature. But the whole thing is going to be 4 or 5 grams, which is crazy, crazy light and portable. Very similar, I would say, to the original Osmo, but just pretty much half the footprint since now you can fold it. So when you're not using it, it's not consuming a whole backpack, so to speak. Now you could probably rock it on a theme park with your jacket or a small little side purse or things like that. So what do you think about the folding capability? Let me know in the chat right now while I kind of like catch up to your comments and concerns here. But I think this is a definitely an improvement from the previous gimbals, especially since now you're going to be able to transport it. And let's face it, sometimes you want to use your phone, sometimes you need to get away with it, kind of like maybe text or get a phone call. And this is kind of cool because you don't have to like carry this whole thing, or maybe you're minimalistic that day and you just brought your wallet, your phone, and your gimbal. So this is definitely a welcome addition here. So the max payload, once again, I'm not 100% sure of it, but if you have any questions or concerns regarding the foldable design, drop them right there. Would you see yourself using the foldable design? That's definitely another thing. Like, it could fold, but would you use that in your workflow? Now, moving on the website, I don't know if you noticed that, but there's like a slight angle there, right? It's not quite fully flush. If we were to look at the DJI Osmo Mobile, it's like perfectly like vertical, right? Everything is straight up. There's no like angles to it. And I really like this because typically when you're holding your gimbal, you definitely don't want to hold your gimbal in a full vertical position. You want to hold it kind of like with a little tilt, with a little angle, so the motors do the really well-balanced, stabilization as it was intended. Because I actually had a comment today about that same topic. If you're filming and you're just simply walking and you're holding your gimbal in what we, just regular vertical position, the way humans walk, you're going to get that bounce up and down. But if you were to tilt it a little bit forward and let the motors do their job, you're definitely going to minimize that bounce effect. And of course, if you implement some ninja walking, you're definitely going to minimize that impact as well. Ninja walking means bending your knees, tilting the gimbal forward in about 45-degree angles, not fully flat, but kind of like a little sideways there. and that way you'll stabilize your shot and get it as smooth as possible. So I really appreciate this ergonomic design. It's a little tilted forward. It's kind of helping you get there. So I appreciate that a lot from a not only a filmmaking standpoint, but maybe you don't know this is your first gimbal. It's kind of cool that they're setting you up for success in that regard. So hello, Arshad. Thank you for coming to the stream. Welcome, welcome. And then I also have Bianca Santos. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. We're pretty much just dissecting and taking a look at the Osmo Mobile 3 that was introduced this morning. And I intended to do a live stream because I thought there was going to be an event, but it turned out to be that it was only a trailer reveal, so to speak, and an update to the website, which is kind of cool because I went to bed at 3 a.m., so it's kind of nice that okay, cool. It's not going to be a live event. But right now we're catching up with it, of course. This is another thing that I saw other creators showcasing on their YouTube channels, and it's going to be the one-tap templates, and that's kind of cool because it gives you kind of like the skeleton of filmmaking, and you don't even have to edit your movie. If you pick a template, it's going to ask you to put in a video 5 seconds here, 4 seconds there, and stuff like that. So you can already kind of like include this into your journey. Let's say you're going to a museum or a theme park. You can start capturing those clips. It's kind of like a shot list, right? So the gimbal via the Mimo app, it's going to give you kind of like, hey, give me a 5-second shot. Give me another 3-second shot. And literally, the DJI Mimo app is going to edit this video for you, put some music and transitions in it, which is insane, which is really cool, especially if you're looking to do this a little bit more casual, maybe for the family, for the kids and things like that. And maybe you're not like super into sitting down and editing videos like I do here. This could be a really, really cool feature for you just to get your stuff out there as quick as possible. I see real estate agents, I see teachers, I see, brand new users leveraging this just so you can start seeing that return of investment. Okay, I bought this gimbal, I got the shots, what do I do now, right? So I feel this would be a really good shot. I'm going to hit the play button again just so you can see at the bottom of the screen there's going to be kind of like a shot list. We'll play it again, but you can see all this the app is going to do for you, which is crazy. Nowadays, you might not even need anybody to edit your videos, so that's crazy good. And then, of course, just like the Mimo app, you'll be able to do all the story stuff, which is kind of cool. But at least for me, this is stuff that it's cool, but it doesn't really fall in line with what I want to do. So I'm not sure that I'm going to use it past just the showcase piece. But I could see friends and family that are maybe not super savvy and film inclined. I can see them leveraging this, especially for like Instagram and stuff like that. So it's super cool. EMT Films, que es la que hay? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Hey, what's up, David Kim? Welcome to the stream. Cameron, I just ordered mine. Congratulations, Cameron. Me as well. I got mine. Hopefully, I'll get it faster than it says that I'm gonna get it. But yeah, I'm not on that DJI list yet. So hopefully, in the future, we'll make that happen. But we were just quickly glancing over the design scheme in terms of like. Everything that the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 is going to include, and this is another really cool feature that I really like. You notice that she had a hand gesture, and that triggered the shot. It automatically followed on her face, and bam, it took the shot for her. So how cool is that? Right now you're going to have the hand gesture similar to the DJI drones, so you can enable that. And this is really cool because usually you take these with the front-facing camera, but the rear camera at times, you might have a lens on it, or it might be, a low-light situation. You want to take advantage of the rear-facing camera, which is, in my opinion, the best camera, period. Now you have the option to leverage hand gestures just to trigger that shot. So I could totally see myself using this a lot, not only for photos, but hopefully they have this feature for videos. If not, I'll take what I can get. So for photos it is. But one thing that I saw with Active Track, which is really cool, is that you can now reposition the Active Track where the subject is being placed on the screen. So if you were to do tracking right now on your DJI Osmo Mobile 2, it will 100% keep you in the frame. But if you move the joystick up and down, it'll compose the shot for you, and it'll move you pretty much to the right side or the left side, so you can follow the rule of thirds in that regard. So I really enjoy that. I believe I saw that on Potato Jet's YouTube channel. Gene had it today, and he was showcasing the active tracking, which is really cool because if you have a really nice composition setup that you could follow, but the gimbal is pretty much tracking to the center, it really does no good in terms of the artistic expression that you can assume with it. But now you'll be able to, I can have active track, but I can have the phone recognize that and move the subject and track it on the left side or the right side of the frame. So that's really, really cool. So active tracking. So let me know in the comment section down below if you're stoked for active tracking and the hand gestures. I'm pretty excited for those because most often when I'm doing the test comparisons and the stabilization tests and all that stuff, I'm running solo. So it would be really nice to be able to enable that left and right without me having to worry too much about triggering the shutter and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And then of course Hyperlapse is over here. It's you know the drill with Hyperlapse as you pretty much track your subject and slowly walk towards your environment there, and you can get a really cool moving time lapse that adjusts the tilt head. If you haven't seen my Hyperlapse tests, I would definitely encourage you to check that out. I think we did a 4 tips for time lapses in Universal Studios a while back with the DJI Osmo Mobile 2, and I'm really stoked to revisit that same video, but with the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. Before I continue, I'm going to check out the comments to make sure we're communicating, answering any questions, or maybe learning from your perspective. So we're going to check that out real quick and see. Can it handle iPhone XR and case? David, yes, it can. It can totally handle that, especially now that the gimbal is not restricting the phone to a specific position. So we were using earlier in the stream the Snoppa Atom, which is a similar gimbal that also folds. Because it's the closest thing that I have that we can leverage here and demo for you. But it's going to be very, very similar to this. I'm going to showcase this one more time. That way you get a little bit better visual of what that's going to look like. Then I'm going to use the S10 Plus in the time being. That way you can see how that works. I'm going to turn this guy on here real quick. And as you can see, the bottom part is open and exposed, so you could plug in your headphones or any other accessories or any lighting attachments or anything that you might really need, or even charge, which is really cool. But you could sway the phone left or right, and it's not limited to a specific locking. Like if you look at the original Osmo, you cannot go further than, of course, the maximum limit to the right, so you would have to sway it to the other side or use counterweights. In this case, if the phone's a little bit heavier on the left, you can move it to the right and vice versa. I actually did this with moment lenses as well on this same gimbal, and it looks amazing. You could totally do it. And the beautiful thing and the benefit of that design, if we really go further about the foldable design, is the fact that, let me actually switch over to the big camera over here, is that down here, you can see that there's really no motor that's just going too far in front of the frame. So if you were to use a moment wide angle lens or something like that, this motor, which used to be originally right around here, it's not going to show in your shot, which is really, really cool. And of course, on phones like this, the Samsung Galaxy S10, or other phones that have a third ultra wide camera, or if you have a moment wide lens, it opens the door for even better flexibility because that motor is not going to show in your frame, which is awesome. I really enjoy that functionality. So yeah, you could totally rock the SR on that. It definitely falls, and the XR is actually lighter than the iPhone XS Max, which is really, really cool. So the hand gestures are going to be sick. I totally agree, Cameron. Those are going to be awesome. David Kim, is the Osmo Mobile 3 more for casual users than the 2? I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're blending casual and professional because you have all the great features that you could use with the DJI Osmo Mobile 2. And I'm not surprised if we see an update from Filmic Pro for it to be fully integrated. Having said that, if you have the DJI Osmo Mobile 2, that's an amazing gimbal. There's really no need for upgrade unless you see yourself, I could really benefit from that specific update for the hand gestures or from the Active Track 2.0 or something like that. So That's just like I mentioned in the beginning. Just because DJI came out with a brand new gimbal doesn't truly mean that you necessarily have to upgrade. But I know I'm gonna upgrade. It's a new gimbal, it's a new toy, so I'm totally gonna do it. But I totally see how they could continue that more casual first approach, but in the back end we'll have awesome applications like Filmic Pro for it to become more robust. But now, since it's giving you the flexibility of using the bottom of the phone, you'll definitely be able to get accessories and get a little bit more of a professional output out of it. So I think it's both, which is really cool. I've heard there was limited movement, and yes, there is, David. At the beginning, right, similar to this gimbal, right, since there's not an axis, this used to be right here in front. When you start tilting forward, it's just going to follow along and tilt with you because it just physically cannot go that way. Now the movement, even though it's limited in the old-fashioned way, the movement now switched to a side movement. So now all you got to do in order to tilt down to create a jib shot or a crane shot will be a side movement rather than a front movement. And I feel this is going to be, good for a lot of people and kind of like challenging to adjust for a lot of people. It was a little challenging for me when I was filming with this gimbal because I've been used to and groomed to just tilt forward, tilt back, left and right. But if you really think about it, now I don't have to flip the phone upside down to do underslung. If I just simply go all the way down, the gimbal just pretty much works, which is really cool. And you also have some really cool capabilities that allow you to rotate from landscape to portrait on the fly. For example, this gimbal, if you hold the M key a little bit longer, will do something similar to what DJI showcased on the recently revealed video this morning. And it allows you to just do either, in this case, this one rotates 100%, but if you just give it a little click, it switches over to portrait. If you hold press it rotates 100%. And then if you double click the trigger, it just goes back to its origin position, right? Mode button, quick click will give you that option to just go from landscape to portrait. And then of course, that really cool feature that I like about the Snoppa Atom is that if you hold this down for like 2 seconds, it just rotates from the front to the back. And it gives you the option to leverage the rear cameras, film your video, double click on the trigger, and then you go back to where you were. So that's a really, really cool feature about the Snoppa Atom. And I do know for a fact that the Osmo, if we were to go further back a little bit, going back to the website here, you can totally see that design. See how it rotates from landscape to portrait. So you could totally do something similar to that. Let's continue to explore this site and see what else we can dissect and have a conversation of. But before we do so, let's see what we got over here. Can you put the Osmo Action on it? Ooh, that's a really good test. I would love to. I would love to put my Osmo Action there. I would definitely, the moment I get it, I'll give it a shot. I wouldn't be surprised if you could try it too. Worst case scenario, we could still leverage the BGY tech adapter that I showcased on the previous video about it. But definitely count on it. I'm going to give it a shot. That's going to be cool. David, it sounds like it would be better than the 2, even for casual users. I agree, Cameron. I totally agree. AppTorres9 says, when will it be available across the globe? I'm not 100% sure. Once we finish going down the specs, I'm going to hit the buy now button just to see when the shipping estimates are showcased. Then we'll decide and we'll see if it's something that maybe you're looking to do or you're looking to wait and things like that. The Arshot says, as long as it can fold, it's a plus point here, but there is no external port for external microphone. There is no external microphone, but you could plug in a microphone straight to the Osmo. So you could potentially, just leverage additional devices, maybe a lavalier microphone that's connected to the phone. Since it's not restricted in the base anymore, you'll definitely have that flexibility. Now, the Snoppa Atom, in that regard, has, I don't know if you're probably going to be able to see it, but right here, there's a microphone pass-through port. So you could plug in a mic from the phone to the pass-through, and then you have a headphone jack on the side that you could plug in an additional microphone here, right? So mic goes here, and then it goes all the way up to the phone without you having to fish a wire. But if the Osmo doesn't have this, then you could just simply plug in your microphone to your phone and just rock it that way. Depending on the phone, you might need adapters and things like that, but we'll explore those. And then, of course, you'll have your panoramic shots, your time-lapse shots, your slow motion modes. Keep in mind that slow-mo, at least as of right now on Android, has been a hit or miss regarding the smartphone. So not all the Android phones, at least for right now, on the Osmo Mobile 2 have had the slow-mo option, but this is a different app. This is actually using the DJI Mimo app rather than the DJI Go 4 or DJI Go app. So keep that in mind. Now, the single-handed control, of course, since it rotates to portrait, I feel that that's definitely going to be very, very impactful to a lot of people that are looking to hang out, capture clips for Instagram, social media networks, in portrait. And portrait's not going anywhere. I mean, IGTV is very successful to the point that YouTube supports portrait. So no shame on that. So really, really cool stuff happening there. Here it is. This is the rotation from landscape to portrait. Bam. Double click. Look at that. How cool. I really like that. So now we know it's a double click on the M button for that quick roll. And then, of course, I have a John 480 here saying, I'm new to the filming gimbals and I just bought a Mobile 2 last month and just started learning it. Should I upgrade? Ooh, John, that's a tough question. I'm going to be honest with you. If you decide not to, you're great. You're doing a really good job. I do feel that it comes down to the type of filmmaking that you're going to be doing. If you're going to be filming a lot of portrait for social media, then it might not be such a bad idea to upgrade or at least return, exchange, or things like that, because you'll have the option to record natively without having to remove the phone from the grip. And then on top of that, you'll have the option to leverage lenses and things like that without the excess of counterweights and things like that. Also, if you were to upgrade in the near future to a phone that has, for example, like the Samsung Galaxy S10 or a Note or something like that, that has a triple camera system, that has an ultra wide, the newer one will help you avoid showing the motor. Because if you were to use for example, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus on the original Osmo Mobile 2, this motor back here shows in your wide angle lens. So that's definitely a minus in terms of like the new wave of phones coming out with that ultra wide lens. But if you're really not in that position, you're comfortable with the footage that you're getting out of the Osmo Mobile 2 and you're happy with your smartphone, you're not really upgrading until maybe next year or the year after, then I would stay with the 2 because it's amazing. It's really good, and that's what we've all been using for quite some time. And Filmic Pro integration is available right now. I don't know if Filmic has actually released an update day one, so we'll just gotta wait and see. But regardless, if you realize, hey, I do want some of those features because I've been in situations where they would have been useful, then it would be a conversation to have. Then I have over here David Kim again. Thanks for the advice. I was hesitating a bit whether to upgrade. Totally understand, man. It's a new gimbal, and a lot of people recently got their Osmos, so it's totally valid. I fully understand. Here's some really cool other things that the Mimo app is going to do. It's going to give you some really cool controls. And this is actually awesome because you can playback. I don't know if you saw that properly. Let me scroll down a little bit. But you can actually playback and navigate the menu and watch all the content that you recorded without even touching the screen. That's actually pretty amazing. How many times have you been in that situation where you're carrying things and you're recording and then you have to kind of like put stuff down or a drink down or whatever just to tap around the screen and fully get to the footage just to make sure you got the shot. So this is a very, very welcome feature. I truly appreciate that. And then, of course, the zoom. You can actually do Dolly Zoom right now with your DJI Osmo Mobile 2. But, you know, we're continuing that trend with the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. So Dolly Zoom, if you haven't seen my video on Dolly Zoom or pretty much just that vertigo shot, it's pretty much zooming in while you're moving backwards or zooming out while you're moving forward. You get that really cool push-pull effect, which is really cool. And they mention it here as the Hitchcock effect because, Hitchcock pretty much incorporated this effect a long time ago in Hollywood, and really cool. You can see it also in Jaws and a bunch of different movies that incorporate that shot. And if you want to check that out, I do have a video on that just so you can try it out. Regardless of the gimbal, you could totally leverage that effect. So long story short, the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 is looking really, really good in terms of like all the features. As you can see over here, we got sport mode being enabled. So it moves really fast. At this point, most of these gimbals will have a sport mode, which is really cool, not only for following fast action, like you're seeing here in a basketball game, but also to create your own transitions. Coming up and within the coming weeks, I'm going to be creating a video on how to create your own transitions using sport mode. And even better yet, how to create your own sound effects, which is really cool. So stay tuned for that. Excuse me. But this is really cool that we can leverage the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 as well in sport mode. And for the looks of it, it reacts a little bit faster than the original too. So that's definitely a welcome addition. And of course, it's now using the Mimo app, which is really cool. It's the one that I'm using right now for the Osmo Pocket and the Osmo Action. So it seems like DJI is getting away from the original DJI Go app, which was used for their drones. So I don't know what's going to happen, going on, but the DJI Mimo, it seems like it's a completely reworked application that they started testing out with the Osmo Pocket, then the Osmo Action, and of course now the Osmo Mobile 2. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see how things are evolving, how things are becoming easier, yet very capable at the same time. So I have over here the Arshad saying, can't wait to see the comparison between Osmo Mobile 3 and Snoppa. You're welcome, and I can't wait to test that out. That's going to be really cool to see not only stabilization, but also the tracking capability, sport mode. Usually when I'm testing these gimbals and I'm comparing them all, I tend to do like 3 or 4 things just to keep it simple and straight to the point. Stabilization is one of them. Active tracking is one of them, because we definitely want to make sure that we're taking advantage of the phone and the capabilities of it keeping you in focus if you're flying solo. And then often we do time lapses and just pretty much everything time lapse. But I'm thinking of doing the sport mode now, kind of like a 4-way comparison. That way we can see how quick the motors react from gimbal to gimbal and see the improvement, and maybe pick up any sound, because some of these older gimbals, when you put them in sport mode and you start moving them around real fast, they'll make noise that could potentially impede or interfere with your footage, and we don't want that. So definitely going to test that. We're going crazy in 2019/2020. We're going hard. We're definitely trying to ramp up the content and trying to make this the full-time 100% gig. Can't wait. So yeah, this is the craziest thing, guys. Right now, the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 was being sold in stores for $139. Last year, when they revealed the DJI Osmo Mobile 2, it was kind of like on a special pricing structure. It was $129. But this guy's $119. It's crazy good. Very, very affordable, very attractive. There are only 2 other gimbals that are less expensive that are really good competitors in terms of price point and features. One of them is the Moza Mini Me, which is $99, has a bunch of capability, but I think that gimbal focuses on, kind of like the already established and already advanced user with 300 grams of payload capacity and, wireless charging and things like that, full 360 panning. And then the Moza Mini S is $79, but for the folding capability and all the really cool stuff that you can do with it with a DJI Mimo app. And it's a DJI product too, so it's also one of those things that you can not only find in retail stores, return in retail stores, but warranty-wise, I think it's just a big company that you're probably going to have more safety nets in terms of like, hey, if it's not working out and I got it from Best Buy, I can always exchange it or return it and stuff like that. So those things definitely impact a lot of purchasing decisions made by new users. So that's kind of cool that the price point is very, very aggressive. Now, if you hit the buy now button, we can totally see if it's available and when will it be available. Hopefully they'll showcase this on the website. But right now you have 2 options. You have the $119 for the gimbal itself, and then you'll have the $139, which is the current price point. But this one includes a tripod and a carrying case, which is really, really cool. So if I were to buy that one right now, that is going to be pretty much the setup right there. Let me see if I can get that one out of the way. That's going to be, unless I move me around, but that's going to be it. So they're going to come with all that really cool stuff in the box. So I think that's an amazing value for all you're getting there. You're getting the tripod, you're getting the case. Something like the Smooth Mobile actually is at that same price point, ballpark, and you'll get your tripod, you'll get the case. So you have a lot of different options regarding gimbal. So this is definitely very attractive. Let me know what you think about the pricing structure. Do you think it's price adequate? Do you think it's more expensive? Do you think it's, I don't know, maybe you would have added anything else on that bundle for $139? Before we go and dive into the specs, just so we can start riding into the sunset, because it's definitely a lot later for some of you in the East Coast, let me know. Let me know in the comments. And if you have any ideas or any thoughts of like, hey, I want to use this for this, would that work? And then we have one more thing to showcase before we ride off to into the sunset, which is already dark here in California. It's crazy because it's 8 o'clock and there's still sunlight, which is cool. But over here I have Steven Spry. I too just bought the 2 last month. My main only problem with it is the lightning port location, recharging cable, and also the Rode Video Mic ML. Yeah, that's another thing that I was contemplating. That's a good call out. I'm going to go back to the previous page just so we can get the image of the Osmo again. If you take a look closely right here, it seems like you might have a little bit of room right next to the area that used to be blocked by the motor. So you could potentially put the DJI Osmo Mobile to the test with the Rode Video Mic ML. That's a good call out. I actually wasn't even thinking about it, because even on the Snoppa Atom, you could totally rock it here. But if you were to do this, you're definitely going to clash with the motor there. So it would be pretty much just facing you, and you wouldn't be able to tilt or do anything in that regard. So that's a good call out. We could totally test that out as soon as we get it, but that's a great observation. Can you compare this with other gimbals like Moza Mini Me? Absolutely. We're definitely going to do that. The moment we get it, we already placed the order, so it's a matter of time before we get this gimbal. We're going to grab it and put it to the test between the Moza Mini Me. We're going to put it to the test as well with the Snoppa Atom, which shares that same side design. And, you know, the Snoppa Atom is a phenomenal gimbal. The only challenge is that because it was a Kickstarter, I think it was Indiegogo, a lot of people often have grown with a lot of skepticism regarding that, since it's a new company, so to speak, and it's something that you won't find in retail stores. But so far, it's been really good. And that design, as you can see now, it's proven to be very beneficial, to the point that DJI incorporated that similar foldable design and, you know, kind of like side loading arm as well. Now, as far as the specs go, we're going to dive in real quick and see those little specs over here. You see the whole thing is about 405 grams of weight, the whole thing. The one thing that I'm not like, you know, too happy about is the fact that they're giving me a lot of ambiguity regarding the compatibility. And right now, in terms of phones compatible, they're saying, hey, 230 plus and minus grams. So for sure, 200 grams are going to be fine. And right now, the iPhone XS Max is like, it's like 208 or 210 or something like that. So they're definitely giving you a very ambiguous, more or less, 230 more or less. So, you know, rest assured, they were showcasing the phone on their video, so you'll definitely be able to use the Plus or the Max size phones. But this ambiguity often kind of like requires trial and error if you are trying to use any lenses or any extra accessories on your device, like a case. Maybe you'll have to take off the case for it not to get thrown off and stuff like that. So we'll test all that out here. In terms of battery capability, as we can see over here, right now, similar to the DJI Osmo Mobile 2, we're looking at 15 hours of battery life. So it's 2450 milliamp hours, very standard, nothing too crazy. I've seen gimbals rocking around that similar 2500 or 2000 milliamp hours and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool that you'll have that 15-hour usage time, so to speak, when it's fully balanced. Take this with a grain of salt, because it depends on the weight of the phone, the weight of the accessories, and of course the mode. But it's really cool. I mean, 15 hours, even if I've spent like 5 hours filming, that's amazing that I can do that whole thing in a single charge. So that's really, really cool. Can you do the Inception mode like Moza Mini Me? or Moza Mini S. Not 100% sure. It doesn't seem like it's a feature, but they did show kind of like a transition going from landscape to portrait that we could potentially leverage as inception mode for some shots. So for example, in this one, it was just a simple click to the side button, and this could potentially be leveraged as half an inception mode or something like that. Yeah, but that's I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so. But they haven't showcased anything like that as of yet. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more information about that. And then Steven says, clever marketing by DJI in Australia here. They had the 2 at a reduced price a month or so ago. Totally. I'm 100% sure. They're right now like trying to get rid of that stock and, getting ready to start shipping all this stuff. Because, you could place the order right now if you wanted to. And I believe it starts shipping next week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really cool. Depending on where you are, it might be faster. So, and then, of course, your charging time, 2.5 hours. But this is on a 10 watt charger. And this is pretty much the iPad kind of like thicker brick. If you have an Android phone and it comes with an 18 watt charger, you might be able to get it charged a little bit faster, just to give you the heads up. But the small little brick that comes in, for example, the phone, the little one, that one's a 5 watt charger. So if you're using that, it might take actually longer. So just make sure that if you're in a situation when you want to maximize your time, that you're charging on a 10 watt, 18 watt or more, at the very least a 7.5 watt charger, fast charger. That way you can get as close as possible to that number up there, because I've been in that situation when I only have like an hour to charge and I forgot that I have the little brick, not the thick brick at that moment, and I never got full battery. Also, arm yourself with a battery backup. Right now I have it plugged into the light, that way I don't run out of light, but get yourself a battery backup. I've been using the Mobile Edge, the big one. I actually have a video of it. It's the 20,000 milliamp hour. I can even connect a laptop to it, so it's really, really useful. And it's not that big. It's iPad mini size, but definitely very worth it. Now, looking at the gimbal over here, the mechanical range, if you take a look at this, we're still in the same range. It doesn't really say that you can do full 360 degrees. You can pan, 180 plus, right? So you can kind of like go this way all the way, kind of like 340, and kind of like the other way as well. So for what I'm seeing here, unless I'm missing something out, it's going to be very similar to the original DJI, where you go pretty much almost to the front and then you rotate all the way back to almost to the very front. So not disappointed about that, because honestly, like 360 is a really good feature to have. It's something the Moza Mini has, and I love it a lot, especially for motion time lapses, or maybe you're reporting, maybe you're recording something and you're moving across an environment and you want to be able to have the gimbal follow you and capture all that stuff. So definitely a valid feature. And if you're in that vein, then you might want to consider any other gimbal that does full 360. The Snoppa Atom is a little bit more expensive, but this guy also has the capability of doing that full 360 panning as well, as you can see over here. So you have options. I have not been in too many situations where I personally needed a 100% 360 degree capability, but it's definitely something nice to have. So keep that in mind if you're looking to upgrade, or if you're looking to get a brand new gimbal, that the range of motion looks like it's going to be similar to the Osmo Mobile 2. And of course, look at that, Bluetooth 5.0. I wonder if the Osmo Mobile 2 was also 5.0. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. Very, very standard. Nothing too crazy in terms of specs. It seems like they pretty much just continue what they were doing last year. 15-hour battery life, 2.5 hours. 2 if you're using a faster than 10 watt charger to charge. And yeah, you're going to be using the Mimo app. And if you were to buy it right now and you select the gimbal that you want, it seems like it's estimated to ship in about 7 to 10 business days. So in the box, it seems like you're going to get, of course, depending on the bundle that you get, you're going to get all this really cool stuff over here. You're going to get, of course, the gimbal, the cable, a pouch, and an Osmo case. That's ooh, you also got an anti-slip pad. Look at that, you got 4 pads. That's kind of cool. That's very interesting. We got to check those out as well. So yeah, guys, I'm going to switch back to the main screen over here, but we went ahead and kind of like dissected a little bit of the design decisions that were incorporated with the brand new DJI Osmo Mobile 3, which was announced this morning at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. And once again, we were going to do a live stream because I thought there was going to be a live event like in previous years. But it wasn't, so I decided, hey, you know, I went to bed at 3 a.m. Do we really want to wake up at 5 for the trailer? And, you know, just learned a little bit more about it, and now we're communicating and collaborating and seeing, you know, what that means and what that looks like for, you know, this next calendar year for us to be able to create content not only for professional work, but also for our friends and families and just any occasion. So what do you think? Let me know in the chat if you have any questions or concerns before we start wrapping it up. Let me take a look and catch up over here. Already bought Osmo 2. Congratulations. Osmo 2 is still, once again, it's an amazing gimbal. If you still have the Osmo Mobile 2 or even the Osmo Mobile 1, you're ahead of the game because you can stabilize and you have a lot of really cool features that honestly, the gimbal does a really good job, but also the software has continued to improve. So even if you're rocking the first or the second version, you're going to be in a good place. But if you're upgrading from the first to the third, you're in for a treat because as you can see, there's a lot of new features like, you know, the portrait switching and the hand gesture. That's going to be really cool. I'm very excited to try that out. Only in gray color. They should have made it in black too. I agree. I love the black color. If you look at the Snoppa Atom, that kind of like, you know, really nice matte black. The DJI Osmo Mobile 2 is not a bad looking gimbal, but it's kind of like blank gray. I'm pretty sure if they would have done like black color, you could have kind of like make it look a little bit more like fancier, like pricier. You know what I mean? It's like color often makes things look more expensive than they really are, but that's definitely a great call out. I don't know, maybe hopefully they get creative for like the holidays and they do like, I don't know, maybe like a red color or like a white color or black. Yeah, we want the black color. Absolutely. So yeah, guys, that is the DJI Osmo Mobile 2. I'm going to go back real quick just to show you a couple of images for anybody that might have been joining us last minute. The brand new DJI Osmo Mobile 3 has been introduced today, this morning, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, we just had about an hour-long conversation, almost. I'm not fully sure how long we've been running, but yeah, it's definitely something exciting, something interesting for those of you who are looking to get a gimbal and you're waiting for the holidays. This is definitely going to be one of those very popular gifts. So make sure you stay ahead of the curve and get yours ahead of time because holiday season's upon us. You know, in retail, of course, you know how that life is, and of course on the internet as well. If you know, nowadays things are getting sold out. So I did include in the description a link for the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 from the DJI store, which is right now the marketplace where you can just order it and have it shipped in about 7 days. But I've seen it also on different outlets and retailers like Best Buy, for example. I believe they're going to carry that too. I'm not 100% sure, but you know, in the past they've also sold the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 and the DJI Osmo Mobile 1. So if you're looking to see more information, capture more videos, and you know, just learn more about the DJI Osmo Mobile, just remember that in the link in the bio, you can not only see the DJI Osmo Mobile 3, but also I included the DJI Osmo Mobile 2, so you can compare and see which one is the one that could fit your needs, because you might be able to find an Osmo Mobile 2 a lot more affordable now that the third iteration came out. That's another really good thing to think about. Can you imagine the Osmo 2 at a lower price? I would say probably like, I don't know, maybe $99. That's a deal, I think. So yeah, definitely very exciting times for us smartphone filmmakers. And if you're jumping into that bandwagon as well, what a time, right? Phones are filming 4K. We have applications like Filmic Pro that could turn something very casual into something really awesome, really professionally looking. And then, of course, you have this awesome community of ninja walkers. You know what I mean? Like, you have a lot of people over here. We got great people like, Brodot, Filmmaker Ready. We got Agent Khan. We have over here Mike Hobson. I'm sorry, I almost messed up your last name. That are interested in this, that you could also bounce ideas of. So totally encourage you to check it out. If you have any questions or suggestions, drop them in the live chat or the comments if you're catching this after the fact. Don't forget to follow me as well on social media networks like Instagram.